Hello everybody, welcome back to my sunroom here in East Tennessee in August. Today we're going to talk about some very frequently asked questions about repotting. This is one of those videos you're going to want to refer back to because it's going to help you in the future. And it's a video I've always meant to make, so I thought this would be a really good time to do that. What to do before you repot and what to do after you repot an orchid that's really important to keep in mind. It's a great time to plan ahead and take inventory of what needs to be done to your orchids in the fall. Fall is a really good time to repot for me. I repotted many of my orchids last fall with great success. I like to get them done by the end of September or the middle of October before they start spiking, and then it's too late to repot them. My channel is sponsored by the Orchid Supply Store. All the supplies, the bark, the moss, and the pots that you need, you'll find there. Their website is an orchid lover's heaven, and if you place an order and use my code, Amy, A-M-Y, you'll get a 12% viewers discount. And also they offer free shipping, and that's just a great deal. So here's how I plan ahead for fall. The first thing I do is I make a list. I keep lists on paper and on my phone about when my orchids were last repotted. That makes it very obvious who needs to be repotted and when. And it also gives me an idea of the supplies. The bark, the moss, the perlite, and the pots that I need to have on hand before I get started. I like to have the right amount for the ones that need to be repotted and just a little extra, just in case. Look at the size of your pots. Do you need larger ones on hand just in case? I keep all sizes and all shapes. It's good to have an assortment because it's not fun at all to be in the middle of repotting and not have the right size pot. That brings your repotting session to an end, and you have to order the right size and wait on it, and it's frustrating. That brings me around to rule number 1. Be happy when you repot. Don't get frustrated or hurried. That's when I've made the most errors, is when I don't have the right supplies or enough of them, or I don't have the right amount of time, or I'm tired. Being tired and frustrated tend to go hand in hand with me. So put on some good music or listen to something calming like one of my videos and think good thoughts. That's the best frame of mind to have when you repot. Before repotting, prepare everything you need beforehand. I show you in my repotting videos what to have ready, and don't skip that step. It will go by much faster. If I'm using fir bark or the Better Grow orchid mix, I'll soak it for 4 or 5 days in reverse osmosis water with CalMag and Grow More seaweed extract. About 60 parts per million of CalMag and about 20 parts per million of the seaweed extract. That prepares the bark, and it will keep your orchids from experiencing transplant shock after repotting. With Orchiata bark, there's no need to soak it before you use it. It's much easier to not soak this bark before repotting. It's more water and nutrient retentive than any other kind of bark. That's why I use it and recommend it. It's really that good. If you're using New Zealand Sphagnum Moss, I highly recommend the Best Grow. This will need to be rehydrated before you use it. It rehydrates very quickly in just about 10 or 15 minutes. I use just as much as I need, and I try not to rehydrate more than I'll use in, say, a day or 2. I soak it in reverse osmosis water with about 55 to 60 parts per million of CalMag. That way it gives the roots a good head start. And it also helps to aid any root damage that the orchid may have gone through during repotting. So now you're ready to repot. And I've done several repotting videos, and I'll do more. And I'll link you to the ones I've done in the past that will help you. So now let's talk about what to do after you repot. I soak the pot of an orchid that I just repotted in Orchid Bark right after I repotted. And I soak it for about 30 minutes. I go back and I see if the bark level is good in the pot, and I fine-tune the bark around the base of the plant so that it's as stable as it can be at this point. An orchid will be slightly floppy right after it's been repotted, and that's normal. But you can position the bark so that it's more stable. And a big tip is I don't put my orchids that have been repotted in bark right away in a decorative pot for the first few months while they're getting used to their new home. I place them on a plate or a saucer of some sort until they're established in their new home, and this is going to help you immensely. That's why I use clear pots. I can see the amount of moisture that's in the pot. You'll be watering them more often, like sometimes twice as often, sometimes even 3 times as often that first month. And you don't want them to get too thirsty in brand new bark. So I keep a big eye on them when they're in new bark. When I see that the moisture is about halfway down the pot and their pots are getting lighter, that's when I water them. And remember, even in the fall, there can be some very warm days and they'll need that extra watering. You want to keep them from being stressed from dehydration and from all the problems that causes. So check on them often that first month or two. And then I resume fertilizing them about a week after I repot. I'm going to be starting my repotting videos here in a few weeks, and I'll be sure to share those with you all. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in my comment section below. Thanks so much to all of you for your friendship, your kind comments, and for watching. I appreciate you all so much. And before I end the video, I'd love to say the blessing over you, your families, and your plants. The Lord bless you and keep you, make His face shine upon you, and be gracious to you. The Lord turn His face toward you and give you His peace. You all make it a great day, and we'll talk to you all next time.